I'm back again. It's been a while, and I want to thank everyone that's been supporting my channel and asking me questions like, when am I going to get back to talking? Um, it was actually kind of funny because in the beginning, when I was doing this, there was a lot of support, and then obviously, it fizzled out just because I wasn't being as consistent. And then I started trying it again. I was posting a lot more on my TikTok channel, just to try and get some support there. It's been great. The things I've been posting have been getting a lot of engagement. And I had a couple of friends ask me when I'm gonna get back to doing this. So yeah, I'm back. And it's time we get to talking. So I guess to start this off, I need to explain my absence, my hiatus, if you want to call it that. So last year, a lot of things were going on. I was finishing off my honors for my psych degree, so I'm done with that, and I'm going to graduate this year. So great. um, Making friends, losing friends, and just planning for the future. So I got a job. I work at a hospital as a counselor. That's enough information as I think maybe I'm allowed to give on it. And so far so good. It's been really good. It's tough though, you know, because a lot of people's problems end up coming out that sometimes you don't expect, and you're not really sure how to deal with all of that. But with time I've been able to really get the feel for how things are and how things operate in the hospital. And it's a government hospital. Um, So whatever misconceptions you have, don't tell me about them. it's it's high paced, it's very packed, and sometimes we don't always have the things available, so donations and things like that are great. And I guess one more thing to update you guys on, the reason for my hiatus was a relationship that I was in. Um in the last episode, when I had my homeboy Lissetti up here. I plan to see him again. We need to shoot another episode. I think it was really great. But that day that I was recording was the day before I was going to meet up with the woman that became my girlfriend. And, you know, things are different now, obviously. By that, I mean, we're not together anymore. Yeah. It hurts because it came out of the blue, and I thought I was doing everything right, like as best as I could. There was distance from time to time because she was studying overseas and whatnot, but I always tried my best to ensure that she knew how I felt about her, that I was always there for her under any and all circumstances. And things were great up until about a week or so ago, where out of the blue, it was chai. And, you know, for someone that's really about, that connection and relationships and love and all of that, it was very difficult for me to process. I think, no, I know that even now, I'm still trying to process things. I'm trying to make it make sense in my head. When you start looking back and trying to think, okay, did she start seeing me differently here? Was it when I said this or when I did that? Were there other people that helped her come to this decision? You're just second guessing yourself, and you can put yourself through a real loop. And I'm grateful for my friends and my family because they've really been trying their best to get me to see things differently. Um, but when it's just happened, you don't want to hear motivation. You don't want to hear, it'll be okay. You'll be fine. Don't stress. Like, I don't want to hear that because the only thing that you're thinking is about, I want my girl back. You know, you're thinking, if I give it time and space, maybe in the future we can, come back to each other and reassess things. And I don't want to say whether I am or am not looking at that. Um, it's a little too early to tell. But for me, knowing that there was someone in my life that finally, after like years of things just not working out, finally this person came and showed me what I always knew I deserved to have. And then for that to be taken away, it's tough. And I remember people like, no man, you should pray on it. Maybe God's protecting you, or he's making you strong for the next person because the next one is gonna be the best one and the only one. But I think it's funny to me because before I met my now ex, I had prayed about it. I had written out a prayer, typed it out, sorry, on my phone, and I described what she looks like, her personality, as many things as I could, trying to be as descriptive as possible so I didn't leave anything to chance. And for a couple weeks, I wasn't seeing progress. And then, literally, as if my prayer was quite, literally answered, she appeared. And I knew in that moment I had to do all that I could to lock it down, you know, and we had our relationship. There were ups, there weren't really any downs, not any downs that I could think of apart from the distance, and I always thought the distance will eventually, come to an end and we'll be able to see each other as frequently as we'd like. But it wasn't that easy. And now, because things are changing in her life and in my life, maybe the distance maybe was a bit too much. And it's funny because this distance was a lot more manageable. But I'm not going to badmouth her, not at all. She was exceptional. For those that know me personally, I had people tell me all the time, dude, you're glowing. You're beaming. Like, I've never seen you this happy. I'm like, yeah, like, this is the first time that I've had it like this, and I want to keep it for as long as possible. On my birthday, I don't really celebrate my birthday. A lot of us guys don't, just for our own reasons, but it's just never been a thing where it's like, I want to celebrate my birthday. And she spoiled me, man. She made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. And hey, it is what it is. We just have to pick up the pieces and try our best to rebuild ourselves and keep it pushing. So that's the story behind my hiatus. It's quite a long one. My bad if I really just trauma dumped on all of you guys. It wasn't my intention. I was just trying to give you guys as much info, but also in the most compact way that I could. So today, what we're doing is, why does my voice sound like that? Yeah, that's better. So today, what we're doing is breaking down the new page, right? So it started off as Growing Pains. And I had the intention of speaking about the things that we go through that help us level up. And now, maybe considering my hiatus, Growing Pains would have been appropriate. But I decided to change it and steer it more in the direction that I always wanted to go into. And in the first episode, I did say that I want to get a little bit more specific about what we're here for and what we're here to discuss. So we are now called the Higher Man Project. And, when I thought of the name, I was a bit unsure because I didn't want people to think, this guy is trying to follow like Andrew Tate's content, or Andrew or Tristan Tate or Justin Waller or any of those guys that do like masculinity podcasts. And I say masculinity with quotation marks on purpose because I think that their idea of masculinity and what makes a high value man and things of the sort, I think it's honestly bullshit. I don't think that it's real. I don't think that it's honest. I think that it's got a lot of gaps. And most of what they do is they just say controversial things for the sake of getting a reaction. And then they add bits and pieces to sort of like fill it out. So the High Man Project basically is about getting us men to better understand ourselves and how we navigate the challenges that come with life, and reclaiming and being proud of being a man. You know, in the times that we live in, it becomes a little bit tricky when you stand up and stand proud of your masculinity because of the discussion, especially around, gender roles and masculinity versus femininity, and then the patriarchy. And it's a lot. I'm not going to get into it. We're not going to get political yet. So, what I want to do with this channel is focus on 5 pillars. It took me a while to get a sense of what these pillars are, what they mean, how we make sense of them. But after some soul searching and some thinking and heartbreak, I sort of came up with 5 that I think will make the most sense. The words you've heard before. I'll just explain my understanding and application of the word to what we're trying to do here. So, the first pillar, if you're taking notes, please do, gents. This will help you. It's been helping me. And I can say that it's pretty good. So, the first one is responsibility. Now, obviously, responsibility is pretty easy. It's like just taking ownership of, your rights and your wrongs, and never really letting somebody else take the blame for something that you did. But I think if we look more into it, responsibility is also knowing what your role is in a situation and playing that role as best as you can. A lot of us men want to think of ourselves as leaders. But if 10 of us are leaders and we have a scenario where one person has to lead, the other 9 people are going to clash because they don't know how to play their role. They play the role that they think they deserve to get, but not the one that the situation demands from them. So understanding what your role is in a situation and playing that role to the best of your ability, I think, is the best way to set yourself firmly in the ground, because then you can become dependable. People can be like, yeah, but that guy, there was a time that I asked him to do something for me and I didn't think he'd take it well, but he did it, and he did it so well that I can depend on him for anything. So that's the first pillar. Second pillar is honesty. And this one can be difficult because it's not just about being honest to other people about what we're feeling and what we're thinking and what we plan to do and things like that. It's also being honest with yourself. And it's very hard to be honest with yourself when you don't even know that you're playing against yourself. You'll put yourself in a situation and convince yourself that you've got to now do 1, 2, 3, 4 things, when in reality, it's not working out. And no one else is seeing what you're seeing, not because they don't believe in you, but because they know that it's out of your character. So you need to be honest with yourself to be able to take a step back and assess and be like, ish, maybe they're right. Maybe there's something here that's not really making sense. Maybe I'm trying my hardest to do something I'm not supposed to be doing. Because it happens. I mean, I've had situations like those. I'm sure many of you gents have. And in hindsight, you're like, I should have just stepped aside. Or the opposite, maybe I should have done more. Either way, honesty um, is very important. So that's pillar number two. Number three is respect. Now, the simple version would be like, respect yourself, respect other people, and everything will be okay. Yes, true. But I want to take it a step a little further and also talk about commanding respect. Now, I know once I've said that, some people's antennas have now lifted, and it's like, what the hell do you mean you want to command respect? Who the hell are you going to command it from? Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me cook. Let me cook. Let me try. Let me try and cook. I'm not always right. I could be wrong as hell. You'll let me know. This is just, me speaking from my perspective. So when it comes to commanding respect, it's about knowing that in situations where you've been respectful and you've tried your best to be as best as you can be, you're playing your role well, you're being honest, you're taking responsibility, you're doing everything that's expected of you to be done as a man. And the appreciation for that is not being reciprocated. I think at times it is necessary for you to bring it up, not as a fight, but to be like, hey, I'd like to talk about, one, two, three. I feel like what I'm doing isn't really being seen or appreciated. And I'm not saying like I want you guys to show me that appreciation every single time, but like just the respect of the fact that I'm doing this. And sometimes because we do things like going out of our way to help somebody and that person doesn't really appreciate it, there's no real respect shown. So when people say like, I didn't have to do this. I really went out of my way to help you out of the situation. And it seems like you're not really appreciating that. So I'm hoping that you can maybe just show a little bit of appreciation for the efforts that I'm putting in. So that's what I was trying to get at when I was saying commanding respect. Um, in your relationships, can be friendly relationships, family relationships, romantic relationships, even work relationships, where it seems like your efforts aren't being appreciated. Sometimes it helps to bring it up, not because you want to start a fight. Nah, sometimes you just want the recognition that you're being seen, you're being heard, and that you are valued. Because if you go without that for long enough, you end up just falling off and not doing the work anyway. And then it becomes a real problem. So that was the third one. The fourth one is loyalty. And considering what I spoke about in the beginning, I guess some could be like, yeah, I see why you're speaking about this. But loyalty, man, it's so broad, you know? Like with your friends, having a large circle of maybe like 30, 40, 50, 60 friends is a little too much. Your loyalty will be challenged when other friends are beefing with other friends. And when there's a lot of them, you don't really know which side to pick and who to stand by. And then it becomes an issue. And it's like, you're not loyal to me. You're loyal to them. Why are we even friends? Or something like that. It's like, whoa, cut it a few dials back. When I'm talking about loyalty, I mean committing to the relationship that you have with that person. So, like with your family, the loyalty you have to your family is loyalty that cannot be challenged. You know, when things are happening, people need you here, there, and everywhere, and your family needs you too. Your family is the one that you go to because those are the people that are bound to you by blood. And man, it's really something when you know that you have people in your life that no matter what will be there for you. In your friendly relationships, gents, you've got your squad of brothers, and you guys go out together. You guys will beef with each other. Some guys in the circle will be speaking badly about each other, and then you'll step in and be like, "All right, gents, it's either you guys are gonna speak about it to each other, or you're gonna drop the issue, because this beef thing is not helping any of us, and you're doing it because you're loyal to the collective." And it's like, we are here as friends, as brothers, knowing full well that if anything goes down, we are there for each other no matter what. In your romantic relationships, ooh, I want to speak about it. In your romantic relationships, having loyalty to your partner, you know, not just in terms of not cheating. I'm not talking about that. Well, that counts, yes, but that's not where I'm going with it. Loyalty in your romantic relationships is about, standing up and defending your partner in their absence. When someone is maybe speaking about them in a way that you don't really like or agree with, you're loyal to your partner. You say, no, 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 no. That's my lady you're speaking about. That's my man. You don't say that, because that's not true. Or when someone makes a joke about your partner, when your partner's not there, or a joke about your relationship, or how the relationship can change when your partner's not there, because you're loyal to your partner, you'll be like, please don't say that. Don't make those kinds of jokes, because I take my relationship with my partner very seriously. There's something that I'm trying to build with this person, and it would really help if you showed that respect to my situation as well, because I can't have people that are talking about my relationship as if it's some form of gossip or something to joke about when they're not here. Because if they were here, you would never say anything like that. So it's like, you know, so loyalty. Um, Maybe if you have your own perspectives that you'd like to add, this is on YouTube, obviously, so you can just let me know in the comments. Or if you know me personally, you can send me a message on WhatsApp, and you can you can beat me down as much as you want about the points that I've made if you feel like I haven't said the right things. And then the fifth one, it's a little bit of a different one to the other four. The fifth one is passion. Um, and for me, it really helped with assessing what I want out of my life, where I want things to go, who I want to meet, um, what achievements mean a lot to me, and things of the sort. Um, so, passion, if I could explain it, would just be about, yes, committing, but having that real emotional connection to the thing that you're doing, or to the relationships that you have, or how you conduct yourself, whether it's your friends, whether it's work, whether it's a stranger. It doesn't matter what you're doing, for as long as you're doing it with your heart beating. I don't just mean beating like, I mean like beating. You can feel like this is the thing for me. Like, for example, when I'm in the gym, right? As soon as I put my headphones in and I feel the weights on my hands, right? It's like I'm taken to another place. Whether that weight is light or it's super heavy and I can barely lift it, I'm pushing with everything that I've got, every rep, every single time. The passion that I have when I'm in the gym is unmatched. Even if the progress comes in slow and small increments, knowing that I'm pushing myself and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, that for me is the takeaway. It can be used as a form of therapy. It can be used as a distraction. Sometimes when you've got a lot going on, going back to the things that make you feel good can be very, very helpful, for as long as those things that make you feel good aren't bad for you health wise. So I'm not talking about having a passion for drinking or having a passion for smoking. Because if you have a passion for those things, you need professional help. That's not, don't come to me with that. You need to go see a psychologist. I'll be that soon, very soon. But for now, it's like, hey, my man, let me refer you to a couple of psychologists that I know, because you actually have a real problem. Um, And when you encompass all five of these pillars together, you get what I call the five pillars of the higher man, right? And I don't know if you could tell, but like I didn't really get into any like red pill stuff or anything controversial. It's pretty basic stuff, but a lot of the times we don't really ensure that we're checking those boxes. Sometimes we get so lost in the everydays and the problems that we have that we really take a step back and self assess. I need to take my own advice and self assess. I try from time to time, but you know, when you get a little too honest with yourself, you get a little angry. So, taking that time to just look at what's been going on and assess your own reactions to what's been happening, and then going through those five pillars, those checkpoints, because sometimes you'd feel like, these people were treating me like rubbish. Then you can ask yourself, were you committing to pillar number three, respect? If they were treating you like nonsense, maybe it's because they didn't respect you. Did you ensure that you commanded that respect from those people? Because if you didn't, then they thought that you wouldn't see any problem with what's been going on. If, for example, someone's been talking badly about you behind your back, and this is someone that you love very much or someone that you're very close to, did you check then point number four, loyalty? Were these people really being loyal in that situation? Because, if you were there, would the same things be said? Most likely not. Um, when you feel like people are blaming you for stuff and you don't really think it's your problem, did you check point number one, which is responsibility? What was your role in the situation? And how well did you do your job? How well did you know that this is what you needed to do? In situations where people are maybe saying things are out of your character and you're not believing them, you're like, dude, what are you talking about? Did you check point number two? Were you honest with yourself? Honesty. Did you maybe assess and be like, you know what? Maybe they were right. Maybe the things I was saying and the things I was doing weren't really conducive to the person that I actually am. You see what I'm saying? So when I came up with these pillars, I was trying my best to have like a point, explaining the point, and then an example so that it sort of like ties it in. Like we used to do in high school English when you do like essay writing. What is it? The peel technique. Point, evidence, explanation, and then link, right? So just to always tie it in together. So I hope that that was something of value to you guys. Um, the next part I'm going to speak about is the goals for this channel. And they're not modest. They're not insane, though. I think they can be achievable. It's just that, content creation in this country sort of, it's more about what's trendy as opposed to what's real. So the progress might take a little bit longer. So the first goal is to um, grow this YouTube channel. I set a crazy goal by the end of last year. I said I want to have 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I don't even think I have 50. Yeah. So you might say, well, then, dude, how the hell do you think you're going to get 10,000 when you don't even have 50? How are you even going to get to 500? The plan is to be consistent, to get the word out there, promotions, 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 clips here and there. I'll be posting a lot of my TikTok content on Instagram as well, just to get the word out. Um, Trying to get people to see the value in my message. And also, men's content in South Africa doesn't really exist like that. It's not like in the US where there's like 10,000 different podcasts that speak about the same thing. Here it's almost nothing. So just trying to get people to look into it, to look at it. I'm also gonna have a lot more guests, influential people, or at least as influential as I can manage to find, um, in maybe sport, in business, in academia, maybe. just trying to get as many diverse opinions as I can. Um, because I really believe that, once this train gets moving, it's gonna keep going and it's just gonna fly and shoot, because like I have so many big dreams, and it becomes difficult sometimes for me to sort of like limit them or like confine them into like edible chunks. But I've tried and I've been trying, and I'm gonna keep going. Uh Try and make it my best effort. Um I want to start a movement. Now this one I wasn't sure about. I wasn't even sure about bringing it up in this episode because I thought it might be a little bit too early. But obviously the name of the channel is the Higher Man Project, right? So the movement would be I thought was thinking of saying the Higher Man movement, but I scratched that and I said let's be higher, right? Let's think higher. Let's do things at a higher level. Um I want to encompass as many different self improvement aspects as possible. So, from like training, be it in the gym, whether you run, whether you swim, whether you do mixed martial arts, anything of the sort, that's getting you physically fit, but then also fine tuning your focus. Um, Maybe getting some apparel, just like hashtag be higher. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like mass produce them right now, but in future, just to have that thing so that maybe if you see someone on a random day wearing that, you're like, oh snap, And then at the bottom it'll say something like HMP for like High Man Project. And the hashtag will be like be higher, maybe like here or something. Just something noticeable to be like, oh, he's a part of that group. He's a part of that group of guys that are trying their best to elevate themselves. Um, and then having, like group chats. I've been seeing things on Instagram, I've been seeing things on Telegram, even on WhatsApp, where, I mean, like, on Instagram, when you get sent an invite, like, when you get sent that invite by that famous person to join their broadcast channel, you're thinking, oh, snap, we're going to talk to them. Then you get on and it's just them sending stuff and you can't, all you do is react. But this one's a little bit different, making it a little bit more interactive, where, some gents can be like, Ish, today was a tough day. There'll be some brothers there and be like, yo, what is it that happened? How are you feeling about it? If you look at the 5 pillars, which pillar do you feel was the weakest in the situation? How can we help you as best as we can? We're not professional psychologists here. We're just people trying to help other people out. And because we're all united under like this one flag and this one mission to be higher, we we have the intention, the motivation, and the will to get you feeling great. Um, I haven't spoken to anybody about this, not my friends, not my family, not my mentors. I'm actually saying it for the first time now on air, on a screen, on air. Fuck, it's not a radio. And I don't know, it just feels a little bit freeing to to say it out loud because now it's like depending on who hears it, maybe they can join and try and help out where they can, because that's what the essence of this channel is, to get people to really help others, um, and ensure that we uplift all the men around us, because there's so many of us that are suffering in ways that are indescribable. I know some dudes that are in unimaginable pain, and I try and be there for them. But you know how us men can be. It's easier to just withdraw yourself and just sit back and let the world do its thing whilst you sit in your corner, not to wallow in pity or lick your wounds, but because you feel a lot safer when you're in a space that you can control. And if you stretch your arms out, right, and you do like a 360 and spin around the room, It's not like you can reach the ends of the walls just by spreading your arms out. So anything beyond this sphere is out of your reach. And anytime you try and work on something that's beyond your reach, what do you end up doing? You end up getting lopsided. Your head's not in the focus anymore. You're getting pulled this way and you're getting pulled that way. You're never in the center where things are normal, where you can set yourself, where you can ground yourself. So sometimes just reaching out, helping them, asking them, what is it that you need? Not what you want. You can always get what you want. Most of the time, the things that you want, you can get yourself. What do you need? In what ways do you need me to be there for you? I've had some friends, with my current situation, ask me what I need from them. How best can they help me? And to be honest, I haven't really had a lot to say in response because I myself don't know what I need all the time. Sometimes I do have to sit back, be a little bit more reserved, and then assess and go through my own 5 pillars and see where things are falling short, what the issues are. Sometimes, if they're bigger than me, if they're out of my sphere of control, if they're beyond my reach. Remember this example? I know I look kind of stupid, but it was slick. Anything beyond my reach, I then reach out to others. And, I'm going through some tough hurt. But I know that with time it will get better. It's just that some days I feel like that time is coming too slowly. Damn. Um, I get a little bit stuck sometimes. And I mean, this is just me being honest because, how can I expect you guys to be honest with me if I can't be honest with any of you guys? So I should try. And it's tough, you know. As I said in the beginning, my brain going 100 miles an hour and whatnot. But I'm slowly getting myself back to not normal. I'm not even getting myself back to base level. I'm just getting myself back to a state of being and a state of calm that I can work with. And then with the help of my friends and my family, we can push it until we can all hashtag be higher. You see, I'm just linking this stuff right now. It's too slick. Um, Another goal is to find peace. For the longest time, I thought I had it. And then when something was taken away from me, I lost it. I haven't had peace in my mind. It's been very unstable. Sometimes my thoughts get occupied with this one thing and I hyper focus on that and I neglect everything else. Because when one bad thing happens to you, it feels like the whole world is against you. But it's because you haven't taken the time to sit back and look at every other good thing that's happening. So just working as best as I can to find that sense of peace, to find a balance in the scales. Nothing too crazy, nothing too difficult, just being able to breathe. Some do it by meditation, others do it through being with other people, some do it through reading, some do it through walking. It doesn't matter what you do for as long as it's healthy and it brings you back to your center. Because when you're out of your reach, okay, I won't do it again. When you're out of your reach, you're never balanced. So trying to get yourself back to a semblance of balance. So that is all that I wanted to say to you guys today. It's not a really long episode, like not a lot of content that I'm speaking about. I'm not done talking. So don't close your laptops or your phones. Don't exit the video. I'm not done talking. I'm just saying that the content that I had to say to you guys is finished. Um, what I want to speak to you guys about now is just a conversation between you guys and I. Obviously, you guys can't answer me, but I just want to have this brief moment to talk to you all just about how I'm feeling. I know in the beginning I explained my situation, and then after that I spoke about the 5 pillars, and after that I spoke about the goals. But I guess in the spirit of being honest, one of the pillars, I guess I should let you guys know where I'm at right now. Um, I'm feeling good, man. Uh, just over a month ago, I turned 25, and I started feeling like this age is getting serious because 25 doesn't sound like a joke anymore. And looking around at what's been going on in my life, it feels like I haven't really had a lot of super significant moments that have indicated my like transition into like real life adulthood. They will come throughout the year. Um, Obviously, that breakup made me question a lot of things, like my worth at some points and my value, you know? Like, if I did all these things and they still leave, then what was the point? Because, I have a friend, great friend she is. After she heard about the situation, we had a talk and then she asked me, like, what's your biggest like relationship anxiety? Like, what's the one thing that, about a relationship that just makes you go, "Oof." And my anxiety was a question. And the question was, when they say they love me and they want a future with me, why is it still so easy for them to leave? Mm, nah, I'm cooking today. And it's taken me a while to think of an answer. And sometimes the answer is simply because love just sometimes isn't enough. Sometimes there are things that they're going through that they don't tell you about, that they then let dictate how they make those decisions. And when they leave you, you're left with the questions and you're trying to figure out how to make the best sense of things, but it doesn't work and it won't work. You just have to do the best that you can for yourself. And is it easy? Absolutely. Heck no. It is not easy. And it's not supposed to be. Because this is life after all. You might think you have plans for your life, but you know what life will do? Pull the rug from under you and say, well, now what you gonna do? But apart from that, growing up and it's scary, but I'm excited to see where life will go. You know, I've got some things that I've been working on the side that are really now kicking off. And that one bad thing that happened, remember how I said you focus on that and everything around you just gets ignored? The things that are happening in my life that I'm so proud of myself for. I would have been more proud if I wasn't so sad, but I still recognize myself and I'm like, you go, G, you go. And it's happening at a pace that I really like. Actually, sorry. I'm actually getting notifications right now as we speak about that specific thing. Um, I'm not, splitting my attention. I've just, I've got a lot. Yeah, I've got a lot that I'm working on, and I'm doing my best to, see how best we can work that. Um, Now I have a couple of questions for you. Nothing too difficult. Nothing too crazy. Just basic things like, how are you? Really? What's been the hardest thing in your life you've had to deal with in the last 30 days? When was the last time you said to your family members that you love them? When was the last time you had someone go out of their way to do something nice for you that you didn't ask them to do? When was the last time someone made you feel appreciated? When do you think you're going to get over that irrational fear about that one thing? How best do you determine your path forward? If you have a love life, how are things with your partner? How do they make you feel? Do you see a future with them? Do you think you've found the one? Do you feel like under any and all instances or circumstances, this right here is your person? In your work life, how grateful are you for this job that you have? Do you feel like this work that you're doing now is best aligned to your goals? Do you think you could be doing better things with your time? Is your paycheck nice? Okay, you don't have to answer that one because I know people don't like talking about their money. Do you see yourself working this job and career for the rest of your life? Have you considered making changes? If so, what kinds of changes? There's a lot of things that I can ask you guys and that we can talk about, and I can do this for hours. It's a little bit awkward when you're sitting in a place by yourself and you don't really have a partner that you can bounce ideas off of. Because, I'd be talking and then I'd be like, so, but there's nothing but an empty chair. But this is the start of something that's really going to change lives. I truly believe that. And even though I'm going through the things that I'm going through, I just have to keep doing what I'm doing. I have to, just put my head down and graft and grind. And when that pain is super intense and you feel like you can't get out of bed and you can't really talk to people, you just got to keep wringing out that towel or that cloth. Get as much juice out of it as you can. Keep doing what you're doing so that we can all hashtag be higher. I'm grateful that you guys spent the time to come sit with me today. You know, it probably wasn't easy listening to a man talk for so long about something that some people might say means absolute nothing or makes absolutely no sense. But you stayed and you see it. And I thank you. And I love you all. I will be seeing you guys again soon. This is not the end. Things are only beginning. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you around.